What better way to kick off 2019 than with one of the biggest races on the calendar, the culmination of 5 months of toil. It's the Super League Triathlon Grand Final. New races, new formats, new venues, but the same old rivalries. After clashes across the Northern Hemisphere, we head south to the equator and to Singapore. Double the points, double the pressure. It is time to crown our champion. Super League Triathlon. Not just quick, the fastest ever seen. Not just hard, the sport's toughest test. Not just good to watch, absolutely gripping. 3 brutal rounds across Europe have led us here, to Singapore, to the grand final, and a pot of gold at the end worth $1.5 million US. It all began in Jersey in the English Channel, an island turned French for one weekend. Future superstar Cassandra Beaugrand announced her arrival with an opening win, forcing American world number 2 Katie Zafiris to up her game on the Sunday, and she did. In the men's, more French flair, another world number 2, Vincent Lewis, giving us a first taste of his domination. Round 2, a crazy uphill finish in Malta. Zafiris fighting to reach the summit first on Saturday, while multiple duathlon world champ Richard Murray of South Africa found form as well, but not enough to stop Lewis's amazing kick and perfect points run. 2 rounds and 2 wins for Zafiris and Lewis, who held off another South African, Henry Schoeman. The Commonwealth champ getting his revenge the following weekend on the island of Majorca. A Saturday win, but again, Lewis doing his best work on Sunday, using his short shoot to hold off Olympic silver medalist Johnny Brownlee in one of the great finishes. Vincent Lewis, 75 from 75, 1 round to go, with double points on offer. 50 in Singapore, it's still anyone's game. In the women's, despite a Saturday win, Zafiris' final round wasn't quite so comfortable. Instead, it was resurgent fellow American Taylor Spivey who mastered Majorca. With that, Spivey climbs to 4th, still in with a shot at the top prize, $100,000 US and the title of Super League Triathlon Champion. What a journey it has been, an absolutely fantastic debut season of Super League Triathlon, from Jersey to Malta to Majorca and now to beautiful Sentosa Cove, right on the equator, 1 degree north, incredibly hot and humid conditions, and a big test for all our athletes across the course of the grand final weekend. My name is Will McCloy, alongside me the founder of Super League Triathlon, Chris McCormack, and a man who's never lost the Eliminator, the men's Eliminator coming up, no pressure to put on you, Richard Murray. That's coming up later, but it's the women's Eliminator we're going to talk about right now. First of all, Rich, I'll start with you, just to get your perspective on what it's like racing Super League Triathlon versus racing other triathlon. You've done plenty of World Cups, WTS racing, all different types of formats. What's this one like?
You know, it's a big difference compared to the usual racing that we usually do, and yeah, it's definitely, you know, full on from the start. Small mistakes can become big mistakes, and you've got to be on the game from the get-go to, you know, to try and reap the benefits from this type of racing.
But then hopefully some other people make small mistakes, and then you can reap the benefits on them.
Yeah, you know, everyone makes mistakes. Yeah, it just depends on how big they are, really. But yeah, definitely, you know, you've got to be on point from the start.
Macca, talk to me about Super League, when you came up with it, when the idea was formed. I mean, what's the philosophy of it? And if people are used to swim, bike, run and they've seen triathlon before, this is very different.
Well, I think that the core philosophy was testing an athlete's ability to do swim, bike, run. Why does it have to always be in that order, which is what standard triathlon was all about? So we mixed everything up. We changed the formats. We brought some interesting formats in. We made the athletes race over multiple days in different ways, and we were shocked with the results. I think the feedback from the professionals has been remarkable. They said it's some of the toughest racing they've ever done, and we're able to bring triathlon to venues such as this in Singapore and Sentosa, which triathlon would never be able to come to places like this other than Super League.
Swim, bike, run, that's what it's all about. But the Eliminator, the women coming up very soon, it's like swim, bike, run, Hunger Games. You cannot afford to make any problems whatsoever. And Richard, your lovely fiancée, Rachel Clammer, is sitting there in 3rd position with Taylor Spivey right behind her, and all eyes on Katie Zafiris. How's her headspace, and does she cope well in these conditions?
Yeah, she thrives in these type of conditions. Hopefully she can't hear me now, but definitely, she loves the hot conditions. She's from Holland, well, from the Netherlands, but she's spent plenty of time in South Africa, and we just came here from Cape Town, so definitely acclimatized to this type of condition.
All right, let's have a look at the standings as they are. We mentioned that Katie Zafiris has a commanding lead. She's on 71 championship points. Kirsten Casper, fellow American, she's not here. So Rachel Clemmer, we spoke about, Taylor Spiver, the other American, are in with a shot because we have double points across this weekend. So 50 championship points are on offer, and this is how it shakes out. Zafiris 71, Rachel Clemmer 40, and Spivey 38. If Katie Zafiris finishes in the top 7 this weekend, she will be the champion. If she doesn't, if she has any small error, it will be capitalised on by Clemmer, and Spivey have a chance of winning. And of course, there is form all the way through this field as well. It's a very, very tight course. Anything can happen, but Katie Zafiris knows it's all on her shoulders, and her mental game is very strong at the moment.
I am Katie Zafiris. Coming into this last race, I'm really focused on making sure that my mind is in the same place as what it has been. I'm focused much more on my goals throughout the race than I am about taking the win or winning the whole series, even though that's obviously on my mind. It's not really my focus. Super League Triathlon can be really trying in the mental side of things, especially with the triple mix.
The triple mix. Get ready, because this one hurts.
The mental part of it is challenging for me. A time where I really had to dig deep, the mental side of things, was in Malta. We were coming up the final hill, and I was with Summer Rappaport and Kirsten Casper. And I remember in my head distinctly saying, Katie, you want this, like you need to go. And I motored up the hill. For me, the physical aspect usually comes pretty easy, but the mental aspect is something I really work on. And I think this last year I've just learned a lot about how to get the most out of myself, and also when there's nervousness or anxieties, that's normal for me. That's not something that freaks me out. It's something that says, Katie, you're ready to race. It doesn't make you weak to have to work on your mind, and it takes as much training.
And here is Zafiris at the back.
Katie Zafiris is down.
Zafiris is down.
Yeah, there's certainly times though where it's not easy, it doesn't feel fun, and it doesn't feel exciting. I think the biggest thing for me is knowing that those times will pass. I think I do a lot of self-talk of just, I am strong, I am strong, I am strong, or I segment things. I really like breaking down the races. With Super League, these courses are really tiny, but you'll see me doing the 1K loop on the bike or on the run so many different times so that I know exactly every single turn.
Katie Zafiris, what an effort from her.
I think when I'm on the podium, I'm just really proud that I did it again at this point. But I also feel like every time on the podium, there's unfinished business. Like in Mallorca, where I was second, I was frustrated, and I wanted to be on the top. To win Super League for the second year in a row would just be really amazing, and it would be a reflection of that I'm headed the right direction. Just showing that I can do it no matter what, basically.
I am strong, I am strong. There is Katie Zafiris in the water. That's her mantra. Mine personally is don't mess it up. I'm thinking it right now. Rich, I'm interested to get your thoughts. What do you think about over and over when you're in the water, when you're running? What's your mantra?
Yeah, I mean, I just try and do everything the best that I can, and I always realize that at some point it's really going to hurt, but that point will disappear quite shortly. So I always just think it will go away eventually, is what I think.
It will go away eventually. This will all be over soon. All right, thank you for that very much. Go and warm up, although with this weather you don't need to warm up too much. Get yourself ready. We'll see you soon.
Cheers, thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
All right, there you go. The Eliminator is coming up under 10 minutes now until the women take to the course. This is what the Eliminator is all about.
The Eliminator, the most ruthless triathlon format ever devised. A three-stage tactical nightmare rewarding fierce racing and strategic brilliance. Pace your efforts, conserve energy, and avoid elimination. No room for positioning error. No room for weaknesses. No room for anything. Stage 1, mass start. Swim, bike, run. Easy. A win here, though, won't help you. But finish outside the top 15, that's your day over. For the rest, there is no rest. A 10-minute break and we go again. Mass start, swim, bike, run. Finish top 10 and progress, the other 5 join their fallen rivals on the sideline. 10 minutes, recover, reset. It's time to go into battle for the last time. How much have you got left? Because someone will cross the line a winner. The Eliminator, it's time.
Swim, bike, run, and the first 15 go through. That means 8 go home after the first stage. A 10-minute break and we go again. Swim, bike, run, and then the top 10 head through to stage 3. So it's just about qualifying through the first 2 stages and all on the line in the final stage.
Well, I tell you what, this really is an idyllic and beautiful location for a triathlon, but it is hot, 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 including the water temperature, 29 degrees. The athletes normally will be standing around, a lot preferring to stay in the water, 35 degrees out here. Just sitting here, done her warm-up, is our series leader, Katie Safiris. Katie, we've had a good look at your video there. You've done a lot of work, mental work, in the off-season to prepare you for this final race.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always, the mental game of sport is always just as much as the physical, and I'm definitely feeling the nerves for this first race, so practicing my acceptance of it, and yeah, I know I'm ready.
How does it make you feel when the locals say this is extremely hot, even by Singapore standards? You're racing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It comforts me a little bit, but also I prepared for it to be hot and humid. It's nice to know that at least it's not a surprise.
Okay, so biggest threat today, I guess we've got to be looking at your fellow teammate, right, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because it's the first race of the season for everyone. Everyone's fresh and ready to go, so I don't have anyone focused, just so I won't be surprised if someone else is there.
Okay, well, good luck, Katie. Well, I tell you what, there's ferocious competition here, but I think the biggest battle for the athletes today is sure to be the heat.
Fantastic shots from above Sentosa Cove. It is a beautiful and hot and humid day here in Singapore, as so many of them are. It is fantastic conditions for this one. We'll talk a lot about the heat and humidity. Chris McCormack joins me in commentary right now, but there is so much on the line. 40% of the competition points for the season are on the line here in the grand final, and Katie Zafiris, number 16, is the one they are all chasing. Summer Cook now is Summer Rappaport, got married across the course of the Christmas break. She's in 6th position. She'll be one to look out for as well. Look out for Danielle Di Francesco, the Aussie, in the water. Number 4, Taylor Spivey, and number 84, Ashley Gentle, along with Cassandra Beaugrand, the French woman. She missed Malta and Mallorca. She is back with a vengeance, as is Lucy Hall, who's battled some sickness issues over the last 18 months, but she is back, number 97 as well, and there's a lot of Asian athletes as well who are used to racing Macca in these conditions, and that will be key.
Oh, without question. This is my hometown in Singapore, and it is really a hot day today. Katie Safiris, I saw her warming up, talking about the heat. I think she is still the woman to beat today.
Absolutely, 71 points. Kirsten Casper is not here. She's got a little niggle. She misses out. $50,000 on the line for second place, so she'll be keenly watching how Rachel Clammer and Taylor Spivey do. There are a few more missing from that list, and it's all important, the top 10, because 10 contracts are on the line for season 2019 and 20. The course map, it is 150 metres out and then back, an easy swim, 29 degrees the water, 5 laps on the bike. It's a 900-metre course. That's chicane at the bottom of your screen. That is where we're going to see some skillful biking and perhaps not as well. The run course is exactly the same. The finish at the top of your screen before 2 hard left turns and back into transition as well. The coloured jerseys, you'll see that on the course over the next hour or two. Katie Zafiris is in the pink because she's the season leader. The swim splits, bike splits, the blue and green, Emma Jeffcoat and Rachel Clammer the fastest in Mallorca. The red's not there because Kirsten Casper owned that one. And here we go, Long Hoi from Macau, closest to you in slot number 23. And we are going to get underway in the women's eliminator. Here we go, Taylor Spivey closest to you. Spivey looked good, and we've got a clean start, I think. 150 metres out in this warm, warm water. There's no respite getting in there, absolutely. And already there's a couple of athletes who are streaking out and a few at the back there who are struggling with a lot of chop.
It's a straight line to the first can, and I saw the girls warming up, and I saw that far left side. You're seeing that now after the start. Seemed to be the quickest direction out. They tended to bunch as they come off the swim start to sort of move left. The current is running from the right of screen across to the left side, and you're seeing that push along. And I think, is that Cassandra Bogart? I may get this wrong from the aerial shot off the front. She looked to be doing a lot of warming up in the pool.
Yeah, tough to see off the drone, but already someone is well out in front there, and a solid swim, very important, because this bike course very, very hard to negotiate at the best of times, let alone with the best triathletes in the world all around you. Not a lot of places to pass, so good positioning out of the water will be incredibly important. And it's called the Eliminator for a reason. 23 athletes out there at the moment, 1 swim, bike and run, and then 8 of them, their day will be done. The top 15 will go through after a 10-minute break to stage 2. Swim, bike, run again after only 10 minutes recovery. And then the top 10 will go through to stage 3. So we'll lose 5 in stage 2, and then it is a top 10 shootout, swim, bike and run for all the Saturday points. I think you're right. I think that is Cassandra Beaugrand. It's hard to see. We can't see her number, but that certainly looks like the French woman who's come back after missing a couple of rounds. She definitely announced herself, though, in jersey. Fantastic.
It is, and it's Daniela Di Francesco there on the outside. I thought that looked like Emma Jeffcoat, but she wasn't. She's in the blue jersey, Emma, today. But it'll get very, very congested. It's a very tight turn. These 2 swim boys are only about 10 or 15 metres apart. So we wanted to give them a clean run to the first swim boys to keep this group together. And now it'll start to open up. The water temperature very, very warm, and this is when you'll start to really notice it.
Absolutely right. I saw Spivey there in 4th position, just hanging back and staying on the feet of Di Francesco, and I think perhaps Jeffcoat as well. Both those Australian women superb in the water. Jeffcoat from a surf life-saving background.
Lucy Hall's also here from Great Britain, a magnificent swimmer. It's her first shot since last year at Super League Racing. She seems to be in very, very good form. The swim is where she will shine. I saw her on the bike this morning a little bit nervous, but she wants to push up near the front because getting around on this bike course is very, very similar to that Monaco Formula One. For those that follow car racing, it's very difficult to pass.
Jeffcoat on the heels of Cassandra Beaugrand, and Danielle Di Francesco hanging off Jeffcoat's hip. Spivey behind them, and a little gap back to 5th, so stringing out somewhat.
It's an early statement by Cassandra Beaugrand to be swimming off the front straight from the gun. She's very, very committed to today. She knows there's a lot on the line. She's sitting just on that 10th position with a contract up. She missed the last 2 events, so she was so dominant in Jersey, and now she seems very keen to make a statement today.
Fantastic 2018. Of course, that's all behind us now, but she's the French sprint champion. She won WTS Hamburg. That was a big breakthrough on the World Triathlon Series, and she's part of the Mixed Team Relay World Championship French team.
She's part of this French Fab 5 we have here racing over the weekend. We have a very, very strong French contingent that are all eager to be very competitive here. A few of them are off to Bali after this event, one of the qualification races we have, so they've seen the benefits of racing Super League Racing for their Olympic aspirations.
Absolutely. Of course, the Olympics are a sprint and the mixed team relay, and out of the water first, Cassandra Beaugrand, followed by Emma Jeffcoat, Danielle Di Francesco, Taylor Spivey, Rachel Clammer is there as well. Summer Rappaport.
There's Kirsten.
There is Katie Zafiris in the pink. She just went past. Erin Story. The white jerseys as well are our young athletes, so anyone under 21. And out of the water at the end is Claudia Seebach of Hungary. So 8th position for our championship leader at the moment. She won't be overly happy with that, but Katie Zafira is still certainly in touch. Yuko Takahashi of Japan in 14th. Hilda Choi and Long Hoi from Macau in 20th. Elena Danilova, and Ashley Gentle had a very tough swim there. She's back in 22nd position.
She was very, very nervous going into the swim. I saw her at the athlete briefing talking about where the timing match. She's worried about tomorrow's elimination race, but to be nervous prior to a race about your swim sort of makes a statement. It's early season for her. She made a statement that she wasn't 100% ready for this event, but a lot's on the line for her. She needs to get in this top 10 to get a contract.
Nearly 7 to 8 seconds gap between our top 3, Jeffcoat, Beaugrand and Di Francesco, who's hanging off the back. And trying to bridge that is Taylor Spivey. There she is with the American flag. Rachel Clammer and Katie Zafiris make up our top 8.
Laura Lindemann right on Katie Zafiris as well. Here's the chicane.
It's tough to get around there, and if you just push it a little bit wide, you can lose some time, and Jeffcoat was the best through there.
So the gap widening, actually.
Wow. She looks very, very strong, Emma. I spent some time with her yesterday. She looks to be in magnificent condition. She's been training in New Zealand, which is a new training ground for her. She looks to be really, really fit. I spent some time with a mother who said she's over here to support her from Australia, and she said, look for my daughter. I think she's going to be right up near the front.
Ashley Jenner looking to move up through the field there, but she's got a lot of work to do. Don't forget, they're all playing for $1.5 million US. The winner of the championship will take home 100,000 US. The winner of the round, 20,000 US. So big prizes on the line. And as we head in towards the end of the opening lap,
It's a big gap.
the gap is widening. And
Is it Cassandra letting the gap go there? I think. Remember,
so a little bit, yes. The two Australians leading.
once they get themselves into a position to to shut everybody out, they just need to coast through and recover between these stages. It's the winner of stage 3 that wins today's race, but you must survive the elimination. That's the whole key to the Eliminator format. So nursing yourself through these races to be in the best condition for race 3.
Yeah, absolutely no need to win stage 1 other than the mental boost, I suppose. It's about finishing 15th if you can, and then finishing 10th, and then finishing 1st. But right now, Emma Jeffcoat, a qualifier in Poznan, in our Poznan qualifier last year, is now leading the women's eliminator. So what a journey.
Yeah.
She's had a great 2018 too. World Cup wins in Mooloolaba, Chengdu as well. The Oceania Sprint Tri champs in February last year, but that was 12 months ago now. Back in Jersey, she crashed in the eliminator in the wet too, so
Is Ashley
looking
Gentle
very good.
long way back. Summer Rappaport was a bit further back than she'd like to be. Both of those women can rely on their run legs to run themselves into the next stage. But if this happens in stage 3, you're shut out very, very quickly. With less women on the course, the gaps start to open up, and the front group gets further and further away.
10 minutes is not a long time to recover, especially in these conditions. So if you can get out front in the top 5 and just coast your way into the 15, rather than have to spend some energy late on to sneak your way in, that's certainly going to help you as you come into stage 2. But at the moment, it's Danielle Di Francesco leading.
I do think these two women have a distinct advantage. I think it's good to get out in front. It's a very, very tight circuit. You can watch your lines through the corner. You can stay safe. You don't have to overexert. You're out of the rush and congestion of the group who are starting to question whether they're going to run through to the second stage. So I think it's a good move by Emma and Daniela to get off the front.
There is Summer Rappaport and Ashley Gentle on the back of that pack, led by Katie Zafiris, and some hard work being done by some of the local Asian athletes in the back pack. But at the moment, coming around once again, Emma Jeffcoat takes the lead, and they're extending their lead. Might pay to have a look back and just see the pace of the rest of the field.
Sandra Beaugrand, she's got the biggest run on the field, I think, so she can be quite relaxed in stage 1. But still, it's nice to nurse yourself through the bike courses where you're going to do the damage. This is very, very technical. The television doesn't do it justice. The chicane at the far end of this bike course, I saw a lot of the men and women going through that time and time again to get that run through as smooth as they possibly could.
Ashley Gentle now moving up from 22nd position to 9th. Charlotte McShane in 11th. Summer Rappaport, Hilda Choi, Claire Adorner, and Claudia Seabox moved up through the field as well. Hoi Long, Elena Danilova, Desiree Rydner, the Canadian, and our top 20 rounded out by our sole Mexican athlete, Vanessa De La Torre, who will be starting to get just a little bit nervous as we are on lap 3 of the bike.
There. Yuko Takahashi, who's wearing the silver jersey of the fastest in transition, which is it's an amazing jersey to have. It's an accumulation of all your transition times, and Yuko Takahashi, the Asian Games champion from Japan, was the fastest, which is a big statement now coming into this Olympic cycle.
Emma Jeffcoat on your screen in the blue, meaning she has the fastest swim splits from Mallorca, and behind her, the 24-year-old Danielle Di Francesco trains on the Gold Coast. Fantastic swimmer in her own right as well. Let out of the water Noosa Tri a couple of years ago. And we've had a problem. It's Di Francesco.
Yes.
She's not rushing either. She's got a little bit of an issue with the handlebars, and that hurts.
I saw Emma
Trying
Jeffcoat
to
there
get
around.
a picture of that one. Hopefully we'll get a replay, but right now Emma Jeffcoat's out the front all by herself with literally no one anywhere near her. So let's hope there wasn't a clash between the two of them. But Danielle Di Francesco, just as we're talking how good she has been going. Hilda Choi leading the group at the back of the pack, and these athletes are on the bubble and starting to worry about scraping into that top 15.
the pace will start to heat up around that 10th place to 17th place mark. Emma Jeffcoat now 14 seconds clear. Zefiris knows she has to stay out of trouble. She's in third. Laura Lindemann, who joins us again after Jersey 2017, where she had 2 accidents. 22-year-old German sprint champ last year.
Emma Jeffcoat looks magnificent. She
really
loves
does.
to be off the front. She's the true front runner. She's got such a big swim. She's technically very, very good on the bike. She's super strong. If anything lets her down, it's a run, but she looks to be so focused. I saw her in Malta and Mallorca in the last 2 rounds. Her head didn't seem to be there, but definitely this weekend she's a lot more focused than she possibly has been in the past. And this is the best position for her. She just loves being in this spot.
She certainly looks like she has been training very hard across the course of the last couple of months.
Sort of a
Time to
margin.
have a look at the big screen on the way past, see if anyone's behind her.
Look at that gap. It's a nice margin of error. The crashes happen behind. There's probably some tentative athletes back there. She can see.
Oh, that was very, very close. That just shows you how easy it is. No need to push it, and she just came in a little bit hot, and that will wake her up, certainly, if she started to cruise a little bit.
All the bikes.
Zefiris leading a pack of quality athletes behind. There is Ashley Jennell, Charlotte McShane, and Summer Rappaport, number 99, 6th overall, as it stands in our championship.
There's 10. There's 11 with Emma off the front. 11. So at the moment they're all safe. They're safe for stage 2. If this stays together after the run, it's still very, very hot. It's what's going to happen between these stages that's going to be critical. It's nursing yourself through the actual racing, but getting through the recovery between these races, it's key.
The train led by Katie Zefiris. Yet to get an update on where we are with Danielle Di Francesco. We'll get our timing updated and we'll find out whether she's still in this one.
She has to finish top 15 to run through to stage 2.
Jeffcoat, round turn 2, and coming up to the chicane once again on the W Hotel side of this beautiful Sentosa Cove.
You can see the heat. You can see the sweat all over Emma. The heat out there, it's brutal. We're in the shade here. It's got to be 35.
It is. You're
shade.
sweating profusely here in the commentary position. It's very uncomfortable for both of us. Around the back, she'll come off the tiles now. She's on the tarmac again. There's 2 or 3 changes of surface, which make things a little trickier, we've already seen.
Ashley Jennell's put herself in that group. Very slow through the chicanes.
They're very tentative, and why not? Already seen one Australian come to grief and another one nearly do the same thing. But there is a group that are all safe in the top 15 at this point. We'll have to go back and see who is from 12th onwards as we come through timing once again. But right now it's all about Emma Jeffcoat, who can really measure her efforts as she comes into transition on this run. She's got plenty of time, and she would be smart to finish just at the head of the rest of the chasing pack.
She's off the bike now. She's got a great margin of error. She'll be able to cruise and relax this run. She knows there's only 10 girls behind her, 15 go through to stage 2. There's $1,000 up for winning the stage, so she's probably got, it's a great shopping place, Singapore. Emma loves a good shop. And
well, if you're in this position right now, $1,000 will be very handy.
And she's out. Great transition. Great transition.
Little smile as well. Rachel Clammer leads in the pack. Zefiris, Laura Lindemann, Yuko Takahashi, Leonie Perriot, Ash Gentle there as well.
Rachel Clammer very quick. That number 1 position, number 20, number 1 closest to that as they come around that turn is a distinct advantage if you get into transition first. Yuko Takahashi out
That was
first.
a very quick transition. That's why she has the, we'll call it silver, but
yes,
you know it's grey, the jersey, but we'll call it silver. Leonie Perriot comes out behind Takahashi, and these athletes really are on the bubble.
Surya Lucy Paul just out.
So McShane, Spivey and Rappaport all within 30 seconds of our leaders, and then it's back to Lucy Hall on 36.
Daniela Di Francesco is in about 17th position, it looked like.
That hurts. Let's hope she can make it through to the next round. Hilda Choi, 37 seconds back. Danilova and Desiree Reidner. So Hoi Long, Claudia Seebock are looking like they could miss out. 3 seconds back from Reidner. Erin Story, Di Francesco now dropped about 10 seconds behind the bubble in 19th, and Clara Dorner 55 seconds back. So we could be waving goodbye to a host of athletes. Well, we will be. Those names at the bottom of your screen. need to make it into the top 15, but right now Emma Jeffcoat needs to jog it home for a little under 2 kilometres, a 900-metre course, 2 laps.
We've got the motorbike now on the run course, which is nice. We actually removed the motorbike for the bike course, primarily because it couldn't keep up with the athletes. So we get that nice view now of the nice running technique of Emma Jeffcoat. She looks very, very relaxed.
She's done a lot of work. You can tell that she's done a lot of work. She looks light on her feet. Obviously, it's a long weekend, but she's done a lot of work on her run, and there's the best runner that there is in triathlon, perhaps. Cassandra Beaugrand leading Laura Lindemann, Ash Gentle, who we know how good a run she has as well, and Yuko Takahashi in the silver bullet, number 27. Around the back of the course now with some
bit of shade.
Very handy shade, I was going to say, yep, just as she comes into the full sunlight.
This is a nice performance by Emma. She'll be very, very happy with the way it played out. She had a great swim start. She set it up with the bike. She lost, there's Daniela Di Francesco there. She lost her partner off the front and was able to set it up on the bike and cruise the run. I don't think if she could have wished for anything, I think that would have been the perfect race for her, and she's delivered it.
She doesn't look to have an injury that's visible, but we'll see at the end of this stage whether she pulls up okay, Danielle Di Francesco, and we'll get an update hopefully from Annie Emerson. But speaking of doing it easily, Cassandra Beaugrand is such a fantastic runner, and there's her French teammate, another member of the Fab Five, Leonie Perriot. These two have been inseparable over the course of the week.
They're world champions together as part of the mixed relay team for France. They are the favourites going into Tokyo to win that mixed relay gold medal. They're using Super League racing to really hone those skills to prep up that. And these conditions here are very, very similar to what they're going to face in Tokyo. It's going to be hot, humid, very, very warm conditions, and they're just remarkable at this short, dynamic racing.
Well, if they're looking forward to getting back in the water at the start of stage 2, it's not going to help them in terms of cooling down. It remains 29 degrees in the water, just 3 below the ambient air temperature of 32. Emma Jeffcoat comes in to cross the finishing line.
She'll have 1 lap to go.
1 lap left.
She looks very controlled, comfortable.
She gets a look there as well at exactly how much of a gap she does have as she comes around the tight turn, and a training jog for Beaugrand and Perriot ahead of Rachel Klammer there in the green. Both looking extremely comfortable.
Controlling your effort's key, and sometimes you feel so fresh because it's only stage 1. There's been a lot of tension building up to this weekend's racing. You get out there, you run the legs out, you feel so comfortable. But the key is to really, really hold back, and that can be difficult to do when you're so used to racing. In this Eliminator format, only stage 3 matters. Whoever wins stage 3, you can scrape through stage 1, stage 2. You win stage 3, you win the day's racing.
Well, Danielle Di Francesco has certainly learnt that lesson. She could have backed it off a little bit, and she just tipped herself over the line.
Two French look very, very comfortable.
They do indeed. Rachel Klammer in 4th position ahead of Laura Lindemann.
And that's where she'd like to keep Katie Zafaris all week, I think. If she can keep her behind her, she's still a shot to win the overall.
I just wonder where Taylor Spivey is. Ashley Gentle there running on her own. Did well to fight her way back from a difficult swim, coming out in 22nd position.
Smart racing by Ashley Gentle. She's really switched off. She knows how this plays out. And I got a feeling Taylor Spivey would be talking to her boyfriend, Vincent Louis, and he would have said, let's nurse ourselves. You saw her just coming to screen at the back there. She had a glance over her shoulder. She's doing accounting now, and she's going to get through stage 1 as easily as she possibly can. She knows she's safe. There's no use burning any more matches than she needs to.
That's absolutely right. It's a nice, slow and measured start by the more experienced athletes who have done this Eliminator format before. I remember the first time we did the Eliminator in Hamilton Island in 2017, everyone just burst out of the gates and then paid for it in a big, big way later on in the stages as the true brutality of this format came into its own. But a recap on the distances, of course, it's a 300-metre swim. It's about a 4.5 kilometre bike, and then it is a 1,800-metre run. But in 10 minutes' time, after Emma Jeffcoat crosses the line, the clock will start ticking and we'll start it all again. So the gaps will be a little bit smaller in terms of recovery time for these athletes who are behind Emma Jeffcoat. I wonder if she just thinks to herself, well, the clock will start ticking. I'm nearly 30 seconds ahead. A little bit less time for everyone else to recover.
Yeah, without question. The 10-minute rest starts from her. She's the only one who gets 10 minutes. So it is a matter of cruising your way through. She's obviously going to have some
So I think Annie's going to grab her and give her an interview, and the others can get, maybe there's some play in that. But I'm just really, really impressed with Emma. I think she showed a lot of talent coming into Jersey. I thought she was a little flat in both Malta and Mallorca. She's gone away over the Christmas period. She's moved across to New Zealand under a new coach. She's done a lot of work with Ashley Gentle, and she's come out and made a huge statement.
Absolutely, she has. There's Laura Lindemann, and there is, in the pink jersey, denoting the leader of the championship series, Katie Zafiris, who has just been supreme across the course of the 3 rounds thus far. So focused on the process, knows herself so well, knows how to transition from off-season into a race of such importance.
Rachel Clemmer's run right on the back of Cassandra Bogan.
For no real reason that I can see. But it won't matter in the end. There is your stage leader as it stands, and potentially there's a smile which says, I'm about to make $1,000 and I'm going to win a stage and take the yellow tape. Always a good feeling. Emma Jeffcoat is your stage 1 winner, and congratulations to the Australian. A great swim and just built on it from there. Beaugrand, Perriot and Clammer finish in a group in 2nd through 4th position.
I think she's going straight to the ice bath. As you know, that's over there. They try and cool off. She's straight out of the sun.
Lindemann in 5th, the 22-year-old, the German sprint champion, 2-time junior world champion Laura Lindemann. So much pedigree amongst all of our athletes. Katie Zafiris comes home in 6th, Ashley Gentle 7th.
You can take a Hashi back here in the silver bullet, the jersey, the silver jersey. The
Just
grey
keep
jersey.
saying it's silver. It's very silver. It's absolutely silver. Summer Rappaport behind her. And there is
Charlotte
Michael
McShane.
Thompson, our race director, ready to count people out. Charlotte McShane is in. Taylor Spivey,
Is in.
the American, is in as well. She comes off a win. She looks like she's hurt herself. What's happened? She looks in pain. It looks like a shoulder. We'll get an update, but she's in tears. This doesn't look good for Taylor Spivey in her championship charge.
That is huge.
I wonder whether she came off on the bike and we didn't see it.
Well, something says that she signaled to her shoulder. Did something happen in the swim? She's usually a lot closer to the front in the swim.
Tears from Desiree Rydner as well.
There's
And
Daniela
an
Di
unfortunate
Francesco.
race for number 94, Danielle Di Francesco, the 24-year-old from the Gold Coast, who was in 2nd position. But the big news here, no doubt whatsoever, is Taylor Spivey.
Someone down this white jersey.
Desiree Rydner,
Desiree
who really
Rydner,
gave
yes.
everything. She
Yeah.
really does leave it all out there. One of our young athletes, the Canadian. She's collapsed already, and we'll see that a few more times, I think, across the course of this weekend with the humidity as it is here right on the equator in Singapore. Lovely shot on our drone as some of our athletes look to get in the recovery. The ice baths are coming out, and I can see, is that Taylor Spivey being wheeled off in a wheelchair in the distance there? We'll get updates from Annie Emerson as soon as we possibly can, bring you some updates. But in the recovery area, there's some smiles, there's some tears already.
Straight into the ice bath.
And
Drop that core
it's ice
temperature.
bath time. Lucy Hall, Desiree Rydner as well, Claudia Seebock, all athletes who have been eliminated. And the pain is evident, and it's only going to get worse. Hilda Choi from Hong Kong. She's already raced in 2019 in Asia as well. 3rd in the Asian Games in 2018 in the mixed team relay.
It's Coach Jonathan Hall in the black there talking to Desiree. I'd like to see
Lucy
those-
Hall hops out of the bath there too. That's Vanessa De La Torre wearing the Mexican flag.
It's hot.
It
It's
is
very,
super
very
hot, absolutely right.
We saw similar scenes after the event in Hamilton Island, our pilot event. It was carnage, especially. Oh, there's Taylor Spivey there. So she hasn't
Yeah,
been
she's
wheeled
in.
off. She's in.
So we'll get an update as soon as we possibly can from Annie down there on the ground. But at the moment, a little bit of a worry for Taylor Spivey in her championship charge. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. She's been training with Joel Filiol's crew in Spain last week alongside Vincent Lewis, her boyfriend and the championship leader.
She'd be very disappointed, Danielle. She really set up the racing as she is now.
There is Vincent alongside Taylor. Just not sure what's happened there. She seems to have recuperated to some extent.
She's going going back out.
Here is a recap of the stage as it happened. It was a clean start and into the bath water, I suppose, if you like, at 29 degrees. And Cassandra Beaugrand looked very, very solid from the outset. She's known, obviously, for her running, but her all-round game is outstanding. Behind her, Emma Jeffcoat, Di Francesco and Spivey were their top four as they came out of the water. It was very slippery there on the docks as I came in and out yesterday a couple of times, but we didn't have too many slips, which is good. Into and out of transition, and it was fairly clean for our top athletes, and it was a top three in Beaugrand, Di Francesco and Jeffcoat with the chasing pack, all the colours of the rainbow in terms of jerseys. The cream certainly rising to the top. A big pack forming around that 3rd through 11th mark, and all these athletes experienced and knowing exactly what they had to do. Jeffcoat came off the bike by herself as Di Francesco came to grief around the back end of the course, and it was a lovely 2-lap jog, as lovely as it can be in these conditions anyway, for Emma Jeffcoat. Behind her, Klammer, Zafiris, Takahashi, Lindemann. Ashley Gentle moved her way up the pack from 22nd out of the swim and finished in the top 10. But there was a big, big gap to Emma Jeffcoat, who looked like she was more comfortable in the run than we've seen her in recent rounds here, but the pace hasn't really been turned on yet. $1,000 for a stage win for Emma Jeffcoat, and a big boost at the start of the grand final weekend. And what a way to start her 2019 season and to round out what has been a fantastic Super League season from September to now. And as the sun beats down on Sentosa Cove, we go down to Annie Emerson, who is with Taylor Spivey for an update.
You came over the finish line looking really distressed. What happened out there?
On the first lap of the bike, I couldn't see one of the barriers, and I leaned into it and I crashed, and my shoulder really hurts right now.
And it looks to me like you've already got some scar on that shoulder, so you've come down on there before, right?
I just have some like overuse issues with it, but yeah, I hope it holds up for today and tomorrow.
That was the first race, but there was a lot of athletes looking very hot and very tired.
Yeah, it was really hot out there. I tried to play it smart, but after I hit the barrier, I think that just took a lot out of me.
Okay, listen, we'll let you go to get warmed up for the next race. Good luck.
There's going to be no need to get warmed up out there, absolutely not. But glad to see a smile on the face of Taylor Spivey, and let's hope that she can work through that shoulder pain and keep going and into stage 2. And the eliminated women, provisionally of course, before we can lock it in, Kim Kilgrove from the Philippines, as Claire Adorner is as well, Erin Story and Megan Foley, the 2 Americans, Vanessa De La Torre, the Mexican, Long Hoi from Macau, Di Francesco we know about, obviously was in 2nd position, and Claudia Seebock was in 23rd, the number 23. So 15 go through to the Eliminator stage 2 as we already begin our countdown. Only about 5 minutes to go before we do this thing all again, and we can expect, Macca, the pace to start to raise as the 15 who are left all have incredibly long and impressive resumes.
Oh, without question. Now mistakes really, really matter. You can't cruise. I think in the first stage, you've always got so many more in the event. You can start to look around and play your cards right. But now, stage 2, it's critical. Oh, Di Francesco is through.
Well, we're hearing at the moment that potentially Di Francesco is through. We'll get confirmation of that. She's out. We're just still getting the information as it comes through. We'll go down now to Annie, who I think has Danielle with her, and we'll find out exactly what happened.
Daniela, I'm so sorry. You set the swim up perfectly, and also the bike. Just tell us what happened out there on the bike course.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. On the last corner, I either clipped the ground or the drain. I'm not too sure. I can't really remember. But yeah, it's such a shame because I was feeling so good.
You're used to riding on technical courses, but just how tough and technical is this course?
Yeah, it's pretty technical. You have to make sure that you get everything right, otherwise something can go wrong very easily.
Well, you've got some nasty wounds, and unfortunately you fought back, you got back on your bike, but you have been eliminated. So really sorry for you today, Daniela, that your day is over.
Yeah, that's okay. Just got to look forward to tomorrow now.
Yeah, okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's the beauty of Super League Triathlon. It's also the toughest part. Multi-day racing, make a mistake on day 1, there's still day 2 to play for, but going to be a little bit sore and sorry, Danielle Di Francesco. She's certainly a rising star in Super League as well. And we're all playing really not only for 1.5 million US dollars, but also for 10 contracts. So at the end of the championship series, which will be tomorrow afternoon, when the championship points are dealt out, the top 10 will get a guaranteed contract to the 2019-20 season of Super League, which will begin in Jersey in September. Guaranteed cash, guaranteed contract, trips to each of the Super League rounds. And that is a very, very big carrot, Chris McCormack.
Oh, without question. And if you look at that between 10 and 15, those points are very, very critical. With Kirsten Casper out, she'd be sitting home in the USA, watching these results with double points on the line. She could fall out of that top 10. It's going to be interesting. I know, talking to all the women, that's all they're focused on for this weekend.
As we gear up already, if you can believe that, for stage 2 of the Eliminator. Again, swim, bike, run, 300 metres in the swim, about 4.5 kilometres on the bike, 5 laps of the course, and then 2 laps on the run. And the top 10 will go through to stage 3 and a maximum 25 round points. Here we go for stage 2. Jeff Coate gets off to a good start. She was so strong in the water behind Cassandra Beaugras in stage 1. Let's see if she can do the same again. This is when it really starts to tighten up. There's no chance to cool down, really. We didn't see any of the athletes. Well, we did see Taylor Spivey in the ice bath, but I didn't see many of the other athletes who are coming in for stage 2. But again, Beaugras.
Yes, and on the far side,
solid.
After the results, you get to pick your position on the pontoon, and Emma Jeffcoat went wide. She's a little bit further back than she was in the first event. It's not Beaugras.
So I think Beaugras at the top, at the bottom of our screen.
No, I think Beaugras right in the centre of screen.
In the centre of screen.
And someone's gone out quick. I cannot see on the far right.
A little difficult to see as they come out nice and quick. We'll get a closer look as they round the turn, but Jeff Coate, who would be on the left of your screen, far left out of shot. She's on the inside run in the blue. There she is there as we pan across. As they start to come together, coming towards the buoy about 140 odd metres out.
It's already relatively spread out. With less athletes in the water, it becomes more and more difficult. If you have a swim weakness, there's no one filling those gaps, no one filling those holes, and you can suddenly find yourself alienated and alone, and small gaps become big gaps. It's where the big swimmers start to lay it down, especially off these 2 swim buoys. When you start to move slower around the cans, it crunches up behind, and the front athletes tend to get further and further away.
The pace certainly rising, as you would expect, in stage 2, and if you have a little bit in the tank, it's the opportunity to really break it wide open. And I think that is Beaugras who leads again. Get a hint of the French flag there as she took a breath. It's very choppy, and you don't want to be caught in. As I said, you put those 2 buoys, make it quite close together, and it can create a lot of chop and a few swimmers swimming over the top of each other as they come back around the second buoy and back to home. But out the front, it's almost single file.
Back in about 7th position is Katie Zafaris, who looks very, very comfortable. She's a bit further back, but she's very, very controlled. That group's together and starting to gap spread out now just off those swim buoys as we thought it would. And this is when the gaps open, as the front swimmers start to lay down that pressure and that pace. It drags that front group away, and the weaker swimmers at the back, that gap starts to open up. Those gaps multiply as they hit land.
We keep talking about how you have to measure your efforts in the Eliminator, finish in 12th, finish in 8th, and then win it. But if you cast your mind back to Malta, Katie Zafiris won every stage.
Yeah.
So if you're strong enough, you can win every stage, collect the $2,000 US for each of the stage wins, and win the whole thing as well.
Exactly. That'd be a great day. That's what she did.
It would be a great day, but a very, very different course and incredibly different conditions. That hill at the end of the Malta race, which you can go back and watch on superleaguetriathlon.com.
Brutal.
Or on YouTube as well, was absolutely brutal and very different as Cassandra Beaugras continues.
And another thing to note on Malta is Cassandra Beaugras, who's leading again, was not at that event. And if we go back to the triple mix event in Jersey, the swim, bike, run format on day 1, Cassandra Beaugras and Ashley Gentle dominated Katie Zafaris that day. And,
yes, that's true. But Cassandra Beaugras has never raced an Eliminator.
Agreed.
This is the first time she's raced this format, shall we see.
She seems to be doing very well.
Yeah, it seems to be working out well for her so far. As they come out of the water now for the second time, the top 15 athletes, and there's a group of 4 at the back who are finding the going a little bit tough. Beaugras comes out first, Jeff Coate second. It's the same as before. Summer Rappaport, Yuko Takahashi is there as well. Katie Zafiris, Taylor Spivey Rachel Clammer, Leonie Perriot, Laura Lindemann.
Here's the gap.
And 4 athletes now at the back.
Ashley Gentle is in this back group. That's Charlotte McShane. Ashley Gentle is in a danger zone here. There's 5 back here. 5 will go in this race. She has to close the gap. That's a significant lead.
It is indeed. So, Bo Grant first out on the bike. No, Jeff Cote will come out ahead of her, and Takahashi, well, she's bridged that gap, that little one that she had, and she's in 3rd position.
Ashley Gentle, 3rd.
So Gentle, Hilda Choi, Elena Danilova as well.
24 seconds behind Cassandra Bo Grant. That is an enormous gap. Over 300 metres. Yuka Takahashi on the front. Cassandra very tactically clever, straight on the wheel. And again, Emma Jeffcoat. It really sets it up. The swim we're seeing a lot is the swim is setting up this entire race. You get a great swim start, get around those swim buoys, you get through this first lap and you can gap it. You get through the chicane in particular, which is about to come up, big left-hand turn, just off these cobbles. And you get onto the back straight, onto the road, you can open up with some speed, and that's where Emma did her damage in the last event.
Leonie Perriot in 4th, Katie Zafiris leads the chasing pack once again. Very easy to just go a little bit too hot into that one. No doubt whatsoever. I wonder if that's where Taylor Spivey found grief.
See the bigger gears as Katie Zafiris comes out with much bigger gears than the others. Which is hard to accelerate. Rachel Clammer there. But there's the top 10. So if nothing changed, if the results stayed the same throughout the rest of this stage and they got off and cruised, all 10 are through to the final stage. So Ashley Gentle has some work to do.
She does indeed. Zafiris and Lucy Hall leads the pack behind Zafiris. So a great return to Super League racing for Lucy Hall, who battled glandular fever throughout 2018. Laura Lindemann there as well, Summer Rappaport, Spivey and Rachel Clammer. So good to see Spivey back on the bike and within the top 10. So is that our 10 athletes and then a big gap back?
It's a big gap.
Right, someone's going to need to bridge.
And the issue you have if you're Ashley Gentle, she's got to be all in now. So the women up front get to cruise through, look around, count heads, and conserve their energy for stage 3. But Ashley Gentle has got to head down and she can do nothing but chase. She's got a massive run on her and can run herself into contention. But a 24-second gap she needs to close down. We're only a K in, there's only 5K to do it.
Well, if anyone can run her way back in, it is Ashley Gentle, Zafiris, Lindemann, Hall, Rappaport, Spivey and Clammer are your top 10. All of our split leaders and our transitional leader within that group. And then it's 9 seconds back to Charlotte McShane, who leads the chasing pack. The Australian joined 5 seconds further back by Ash Gentle, Desiree Rydener, Elena Danilova and Hilda Choi are your 15 competitors. And those names at the bottom of your screen are all in big, big danger. Charlotte McShane needs to cross that gap. The 28-year-old originally started in long course racing, 70.3. Now she's very sharp on the short course. Under 23 world champ, that's 6 years ago now. Part of that mixed team relay world championship team in 2017.
You can feel the heat. It's so hot. I wish people at home could feel how difficultly hot it is. Just got a breeze from that black carpet and nearly burnt me. It is so hot.
It is very, very warm, and it's almost oppressive, the heat, as you can see on the faces of the people in the ice bars at the end of stage 1. And here are our 10 qualifiers, and at the back of that pack is Lucy Hall, who's dropped down. She will have had a count and realised she doesn't need to be in 6th. She just needs to be in 10th position to scrape home as they come through, or about to come through the finish line once again for another lap on the bike. Zafiris it is now that leads the way. You get the feeling with Katie Zafiris, and she's so experienced now, and almost as from our test event, she's the carryover champion, if you like.
Yes.
She knows how to do it.
She builds through her racing, and you saw in the first race she really took it self-control. She counted heads the whole way through, and now it's the first time we've seen her on the front of the race.
And just the cream rising to the top, perhaps, as we progress through this women's eliminator on Saturday here at the grand final in Singapore. The gap now between Lucy Hall and Ashley Gentle is gone down to 10 seconds. So Ash Gentle is really pushing her way through here. Charlotte McShane right behind her, and then a further 11 seconds back to Desiree Rydener and Elena Danilova
And actually Rydner was another one who just looked so gassed at the end of stage 1. She's backed it up in stage 2 and she's doing her best to stick with it, but she definitely races with a heart on her sleeve, the youngster from Canada.
That was Ash General. You saw Lucy Hall go through, and Ash General's about 10 seconds back. Taylor Spivey right on the back of that group. Lucy Hall losing touch. The next athlete is Ashley Gentle.
So Lucy Hall, she's known as the mermaid because she's so good in the water. She's been working very, very hard on the other parts of her race, and she might have to run to hold off Ashley Gentle for the last spot in the 3rd stage of the women's here in Sentosa Cove. There is Taylor Spivey, who dropped back a little bit too.
That shoulder's playing up a little more. She's very technically astute on the bike, and it's not like her to drift back.
Charlotte McShane and Ashley Gentle working together to see if they can track down Lucy Hall, and then of course Taylor Spivey if they both want to go through.
They'd be looking up there, counting the numbers up front, but more so looking, saying, who can I outrun? Who am I better than? Both remarkable runners. So Lucy Hall, I think they may believe they have covered, who's not renowned for running, but most of the other women up front are very, very polished runners.
Yeah, Emma Jeffcoat knows she needs to stay at the front of this pack, no doubt about that whatsoever. Leonie Perrier's a good runner. Rachel Clam, we know, can run. Summer Rappaport is
very good runner.
A very, very good runner. And we can't really fault Taylor Spivey either, so it's going to be very interesting to see as the gap now 3 seconds from Hall to Gentle and then McShane. So we could see some changes here. We've on the 4th lap of 5 on the bike and then 2 laps on the run, and Ash Gentle and Charlotte McShane are stalking Lucy Hall. There you can see the 3 of them. But McShane and Gentle will know that 2 into 1 does not go, and they'll need to track down 1 more. And here are all of our women's leaders. Summer Rappaport now at the back of that pack, and Taylor Spivey knows she needs to tack herself on with these 2 Australians coming hard from the back of the pack.
She just doesn't look as comfortable in this race as she did in stage 1. She head down a lot. I'm wondering if that shoulder's playing up. She's just letting those gaps open. She was so quick in training through that chicane. It just looks a little bit tentative. Maybe it shook her confidence a little, the crash, and that zigzagging off the back of the front group. She's got to head down again. Taylor Spivey I'm talking about. It just makes for more difficult racing. The place she wants to be is right on the back of Summer Rappaport's wheel.
Well, speaking of right on the back of the wheel, that is Ashley Gentle, and behind her, Charlotte McShane. Lucy Hall has been popped out of the top 10. So, as it stands, Ashley Gentle is 10th, Charlotte McShane 11th. And Lucy Hall in 12th.
Taylor's either backing a run or is uncomfortable. I'm still trying to read it. She's very tentative through the corners there. She's let that gap open. I think she knows she's safe. Ashley Gentle will run at her. She'd be looking at Charlotte McShane, thinking, okay, at a 5 or 6 second advantage on the run, I may have her covered, but still putting yourself in a difficult position. I would not like to do that.
Yeah, that initial reaction as she came across the line was...
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd be seeing her again, to be honest. The way she was holding it, I thought maybe a dislocated shoulder or subluxed it and in it went again. But at the moment, the gap between Spivey and Gentle is 9 seconds. Ashley Gentle knows how to run. Can she cover a 9-second gap? This is the last lap on the bike. They go around turn 2, come across the far side of the marina and then through the chicane for the last time. Zafiris, Jeffcoat sitting in 3rd. Clammer behind Beau Grant. Spivey is doing her best to cling on to the back as well. She has found Summer Rappaport.
Spot, yes.
And
well, she's got a lot on the line. She's chasing a podium finish overall in the series. She could potentially win this entire championship race if she was to lock out Katie Safaris. And so I'm always watching Taylor because she's one of the ones I looked at this course and thought she's a potential winner of the round.
25 points on offer for Saturday, 25 for Sunday, and then your rankings and therefore championship points are decided by your total points across the weekend. So if Rachel Clammer makes it through to stage 3 and finishes perhaps 5th, she's currently 2 points ahead of Taylor Spivey. Spivey goes out in this stage, she can finish at best 11th, and suddenly she has a mountain to climb to take 3rd position overall, or 2nd if both of them can pass the absent Kirsten Casper.
That's the key. Kirsten Casper is not here, so that position is up as they get off the bike. It'll be interesting, the transition. She's got Yuko Takahashi in the silver jersey fastest in transition. Taylor Spivey off the back. That's Yoko second off the bike. Emma Jeffcoat again leading in.
First to rack, Emma Jeffcoat. Can she run away to another $1,000 US? Off she goes. That was a good transition from her, but she's chased out by Takahashi, who's always excellent. A little bit slower from Katie Zafiris and also from Cassandra Beaugrand. And Taylor Spivey is absolutely sprinting, and she'll be well ahead of Summer Rappaport.
Summer's transitions have been terrible. I saw her in stage 1. It was woeful, and she was second in and last out.
So McShane was going to have all the work to do, but Ashley Gentle is absolutely punching it. To use an Australian phrase, that means she is putting it all out there to try and catch our top 10, which currently is led by Emma Jeffcoat, Katie Zafiris, Yuko Takahashi, Rachel Clammer's there as well, Cassandra Beaugrand. That's your top 5 from Leonie Perriot. Another of the French Fab 5. Spivey's moved up past Laura Lindemann and Summer Rappaport, and there is Ashley Gentle at the back of your screen.
That's your 10.
So Rappaport is on the bubble in a big way, and Gentle is looking for a way in. There's no doubt about that. And there is that running style of Katie Zafiris. It doesn't matter whether she's going half pace or full pace, it looks exactly the same. And Desiree Reidner, who, as we said, looked like she gave absolutely everything in stage 1. She was a little bit back in the pack in this one, and she has decided to conserve herself for the Enduro tomorrow, which is going to be absolutely brutal. 9 legs, swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run, no breaks, 8 transitions, winner takes all, with 2 athletes eliminated at the end of every single leg.
Look at all our jerseys in that top 7. The French connection is splitting that with Cassandra Beaugrand sitting in 4th, but Emma Jeffcoat again in the blue jersey looks magnificent. Katie Zafiris in the pink leaders jersey is right there. Yuko Takahashi, our fastest in transition, right there. The only jersey missing is our red runners jersey, but is owned by Kirsten Casper at the moment, who's not racing. So they've been the form athletes all season, and they've been the form athletes in their key disciplines, and they're right in the action now.
I could be wrong, but just as we had the camera there on Ashley Gentle, she didn't have that comfortable running style that she usually has.
She's done a lot of work. She's had to put herself back into this race. 10 go through. Again, it doesn't matter if you're in the top 10. It's what happens in the next stage that matters, but what does matter is how well and how easy you get through this stage, and Ashley Gentle's had to work a lot harder than a lot of these other women.
What a boost for Emma Jeffcoat to be up there with Cassandra Beaugrand, Katie Zafiris, Rachel Clammer and Yuko Takahashi, all excellent athletes, and such a great weekend thus far for Emma Jeffcoat, who has looked very comfortable in extremely elite company across the course of the couple of stages, and she looks comfortable again here in the top 5 as she rounds the turn on the inside of your championship leader wearing the pink, Katie Zafiris.
Cassandra Beaugrand looks magnificent running.
There in 11th position is Charlotte McShane, and in 12th position is Lucy Hall. Those two are right on the bubble, and they'll be chasing Ashley Gentle, or indeed whoever she passes, if she manages to hoist herself into 9th position. And it's pace certainly rising as we hear the bell for the final lap of stage 2 in the women's eliminator in the grand final of Super League Triathlon here in Sentosa in beautiful, sunny and incredibly hot Singapore.
It's hot. It is really hot.
I don't think we've mentioned that yet.
No,
Have we mentioned that?
But I have to admit, you look at Cassandra Beaugrand, we saw it when she raced in Jersey. She plays a tactically smart game on the run. She's very, very relaxed. Of all the efforts, she's looking over, counting heads, but her sprint finish is remarkable. But she's a 4:11 1500 metre runner, so she has pure middle distance speed. And I question whether it came down to a sprint finish, especially on the straight. Probably only that woman on screen there, Ashley Gentle, has the leg speed to outrun her.
Ashley Gentle sitting all alone in 10th position, but she is safe. 8 seconds behind Yuko Takahashi. She doesn't need to do any more. And it looks like we potentially have, barring incident or mishap, our top 10 to go through to the 3rd stage. And there is 7 of them, looking like the Reservoir Dogs all spread out side by side.
Taylor Spivey looks a lot better than she did on the bike. I think she's got to head back into this racing, and she's just sitting off the back. I really think this course suits Taylor. If her head's in it, she could potentially win this round. I really do. I was watching her train on this course. I watched her run. Vincent Louis, our men's leader, is her partner, and is talking her through a lot of that chicane, a lot of the curves on this course, and I think she's here to win.
Rachel Clammer just having a little bit of a look around. We haven't spoken much about Rachel, but she's been sitting in 3rd or 4th position for the bulk of this racing so far this weekend. She's currently 3rd overall, but in terms of races that are out here, she is 2nd behind Katie Zafiris, in training in Africa with Richard Murray, her fiance. So she's accustomed to the heat. She's always been good in the early season. She was the champion in Abu Dhabi, the first race of the WTS season, in the heat as well in 2018. So she knows how to start a season well. She was 4th in Cape Town. 4th seems to be some of the time her favourite number, but Cape Town World Cup a couple of weeks ago, she got stitches on the run in that race, and we're 2 kilometres in, and a little bit of a stomach bug as well, but she still managed to make her way to 4th position, and now alongside Cassandra Beaugrand, she's leading this 2nd stage as these athletes realise that they don't have too much work to do. Another little look over the shoulder, and they just have to jog it home.
A lot more shade now, which would be a big relief. That whole back section of the run course is shaded. I wonder
Except for that bit, which looks like it was in an oven.
I'm wondering if some of the spectators will move that way, because the exposed area near the finish line is brutally hot. I'm very, very impressed with Cassandra Beaugrand.
She looks like she's jogging down to the shops for some milk.
She really does. The French have been all over the racing, both in stage 1 and 2. They look so comfortable and composed. They've been out here longer than the other athletes. They got in here earlier, and which tends to say I'm focused on a big performance, a big round this weekend.
Just jogging down to the corner shop, Cassandra Beaugrand, who doesn't look in the slightest bit of discomfort. And behind her, Leonie Perriot, as we say, the French 5. 3 great Frenchmen in the men's race coming up. Vincent Lewis, of course, we've talked about him. Dorian Connings joins us for the first time as well, alongside Leo Berger, who's in 6th position, right behind the Kiwi Hayden Wild.
See if anyone has a run for the $1,000 here. It's
like a dash for cash.
Yeah, it's like a dash for cash. It's worth a little squirt of effort. It's $1,000. It's money for nothing, and you've already done a lot of effort. There's 3 to 1 doesn't go, and it'll be interesting to see if anyone has a run at it. They had a chat.
They're talking about it. Who wants the money a little bit more? And I think it's going to be Rachel Clammer, is it? Who wants it? $500 a piece.
They're going to split it.
They're going to split it, I suppose. Leonie Perriot 2nd, Laura Lindemann, Summer Rappaport, Katie Zafiris. Emma Jeffcoat comes home knowing she goes through to stage 3. The top 10 on the day here. Taylor Spivey is through also, as is both Yuko Takahashi and Ashley Gentle. And there is your top 10 to go through to stage 3. And there was no one in the end who was anywhere near them.
So stage 3 is basically a final. This splits the race results now. What happens in the next stage? So all bets are off. It's about recovering between this stage and the next one, jumping in the ice bath, as you can see on the left of screen. Charlotte McShane in 11th.
Unlucky number 11 for Charlotte McShane. Of course, there is a scoring system you can find on our website, superleaguetriathlon.com, using the existing time set across the championship weekends. We'll get to that, but right now, McShane, Hilda Choi, Lena Danilova, the Russian, Lucy Hall, who gave her all and stayed in the top 10 for the bulk of that, and Desiree Rydener, who couldn't quite do the job in stage 2, but gave everything she had in stage 1. We'll have a look back at how it all played out, and it was Cassandra Beaugrand who again led the swim out. So she has been, and you can see that quick, almost 6-beat kick that she's employed to great effect. And she was the first around the buoy here, 140 metres, and we keep saying it, but that water is as warm as the air here, so there's no relief whatsoever for our athletes once they jump into that water. And she led out once again, the French woman ahead of Jeffcoat, Summer Rappaport, Yuko Takahashi was there also, and Lucy Hall. And it was a pack of 3 at the front of the bike, but it didn't take long for the pack to grow as each of our athletes endeavoured to not be on the bubble. And in the end, it was Ashley Gentle who saw off Lucy Hall, but on the bike, Jeffcoat came in leading once again from Takahashi, Zafiris, Lindemann. Beaugrand, you can see there with the helmet on, she was back a little bit at that point, but her run is just superb and she knows she can rely on that. She has the highest score on the run of anyone, which I'll explain in just a second. Rappaport, Spivey, who came back after that little shoulder incident, hitting a barrier and clipping a corner and coming off her bike, but she's made of strong stuff, Taylor Spivey. There's no doubt about that. A little discussion about who wanted the $1,000, 500 each. neither myself or Macca would have been as generous. There's no doubt about that.
I would have run straight over the top of you.
Taylor Spivey there hopping out of the ice bath right now. Just trying to lower the core temperature before she sets off for the third stage where it is all on the line. A little bit of recovery, a quick drink of water, some ice down the front of the top and down the back as well. And off we go. There's no time whatsoever. It's a quick dip, isn't it? Lucy Hall there getting some ice water on her head from one of the staff. Also in the water there, Elena Danilova, Hilda Joy, who has really just been outstanding there. She's really making the most of the ice water. And Charlotte McShane, who will no doubt be disappointed to finish in 11th, and that little shake of the head for her. But we do use the existing time set across the championship weekends this season and distill the performances down to rankings against each other, given to give a score out of 10 for the swim, the bike and the run. And Cassandra Beaugrand and Ashley Gentle have a 9.3 and a 9.4. They are by far the best runners. And Emma Jeffco down with a 5.2. Obviously she's gotten a lot better, but we'll go down to Annie right now, who's with Taylor.
Can she improve overnight? This knock will most probably...
Taylor, can we have a quick update on your injury, your shoulder? You got round the swim okay, so we're hoping all's all right.
Yeah, the pains are slowly setting in, but on the swim I didn't notice it too much, but I know I'm starting to feel it as the race goes on, so...
What happened on the bike? Because you seemed to drop off the pace a little bit.
I think I'm just being cautious because of my crash.
Hey, you made it through to the final race, so good luck. Well, we're just going to hop over. We're just going to hop over here to the Netherlands. Klammer, Rachel Klammer, you look really strong there. Nice to see Cassandra Beaugrand push you over the finish line first for that round.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, running goes well. I'm just struggling a bit on the bike and on the swim. Starting to get some sight stitches, which is not a good sign. But last round, and it's very hard, so trying to stay cool.
Just how intense is this heat? Because I think it's very difficult for people watching to get a clear idea, really, how hot is it?
Really hot. I mean, I thought I would love racing in the heat, especially the first round I struggled because I was thinking about how hot it was, and now I'm trying not to think about it and just race.
Okay. Good luck the next round. But we just have a look over here. Ashley Gentle, who made herself, rode and ran her way up into a qualifying position. Ashley, just a quick word from you on how you're feeling.
Yeah, not feeling that great, but I'm clawing my way back on the bike each time, so I'll take it. I'll give it all I've got for this last round.
You've ridden and ran so strongly, but the swim still is your Achilles heel, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
You're going to have to swim hard in this next round to stay on the feet of the girls in front of you.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good luck.
Well, Ashley Gentle didn't quite like that reference to the Achilles heel of swimming. She did come out in 22nd position, though, in the opening stage. There's plenty to do around here in Sentosa Cove. It really is a festival Super League Triathlon. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. Plenty of kids having fun in the fan zone. And earlier on, we had a fun run as well, which was attended by about 500 odd.
Yeah, 500. 500 did the race. It was a packed field. We could only fit 500 on the course. So
yeah, well, this is in slow motion. It was a lot faster than that at the time. But plenty to love about that, and the locals here in Singapore certainly embracing Super League Triathlon, multi-sport in general, and all that it has to offer. And it's so good to see the support of the locals. Plenty of people also travelling to this event, following their favourite athletes and getting the chance to share the very same course that the athletes get to race on. We had corporate racing as well a little bit earlier on in the day, but so good to see multi-sport really gaining a big foothold here in Singapore, and Super League leading the way.
Yeah, without question. It's our home. We spend a lot of time training here. A lot of the athletes come through on their way up to Europe, so it's great to deliver an event like this in Singapore, and let's watch it grow and grow and grow.
Absolutely right. I've got a couple of those medals at home. I just stole them, though, if I'm honest, from Malta and Mallorca. I did not do any of the racing.
I heard it beep as you went through the airport.
I just wanted one, to be fair, and why not? I just took one. That's exactly how it happened, and the smiles there on the Schofield brothers always. They enjoy racing very, very much, and we enjoy seeing them a little bit later on in the men's Eliminator. But right now, we're going to get a word from our championship leader, Katie Zafiris, who's with Annie.
Katie, well, you looked a bit steady in the first round, but we started to see a bit more of the Katie that we've seen in Mallorca, Malta and Jersey. How's it starting to feel now? 2 rounds done, 1 to go.
Yeah, I mean, the first one felt a little rough. The second one felt a little bit better. It helps. I got clobbered in the swim in the first one, and so the second one I kind of found my groove a bit more. It's like being the first race of the season, I feel like I'm getting a little better with each one, so I hope it continues.
Position seems to be key on the pontoon, right?
Yeah, I think position, paying attention, and just being aware of everything that's around you.
And just tell me about that bike course, because it looks tough.
Yeah, it is tough. You have to be in good position for that too, and be good around the corners, be safe around the corners, and stay up.
Great stuff. I'll let you go and get in.
Be safe, remember what you're doing, and above all, be fast. And Rachel Clammer was exactly that. We thought they crossed the line together, but Rachel Clammer gets the $1,000 from Cassandra Beaugrand, Leonie Perriot, 2 French in the top 3. It doesn't matter in the end, though. Laura Lindemann, Summer Rappaport, Katie Zafiris, Emma Jeffcoat again with a great effort. Taylor Spivey comes back from an accident. Ash Gentle and Yuko Takahashi, they are your top 10. Those times now mean nothing. They all line up for a swim, bike, run, sprint final. This is how the Eliminator works. If you're just joining us, we've had 2 stages already. 1 lap of the swim, 5 laps on the bike, 2 laps on the run. The first 15 go through to stage 2. A 10-minute break. We lost 8 athletes at the end of stage 1. We lose another 5 at the end of stage 2. The top 10 going through to a shootout, swim, bike, run for all of the points and the title of champion of the Women's Eliminator, and a big, big boost going into tomorrow's Enduro. All of our championship contenders are in this top 10. Katie Zafiris in the pink. She leads by 31 points over Rachel Clammer. Kirsten Kasper is out. She is at home watching on with much interest to see exactly how it's going to play out and if she can hold on to second position overall. Taylor Spivey is also with a shot of the championship win. Summer Rappaport is there as well. She is in our top 5.
This will be quite interesting. You have Emma Jeffcoat and the American Summer Rappaport and Katie Zafiris on the far right of the pontoon, and the French on the far left. Cassandra's been first around the first swim buoy both times. There's Cassandra Beaugrand in screen there with Laura Lindemann to her left, and Leonie Perrier right there with Yuko Takahashi.
Here we go. It is business time in the Women's Eliminator. Your top 10 athletes are in the water for the final time. And we will see at the end of this race who is our Women's Eliminator champ and take maximum points into tomorrow. And already Cassandra Beaugrand has a length on the field, and she is just swimming beautifully across the course this weekend thus far.
Everything she's shown, she's swimming, biking and running beautifully. She just crossed the line second in the last stage. She really sets it up with this swim, and she's just so fast off the pontoon. It's remarkable. She's 2 body lengths in front here. We're less than 100 metres into the swim, and she's got clear water, which is the place to be. She gets to run around, to swim around quite comfortably these next 2 swim buoys, stay out of the action, can open that gap up and set herself up for the bike.
That is a huge lead on a quality field over the course of 100 metres from Cassandra Beaugrand. If you're wondering exactly how she managed, or why she's not in contention for the championship title, she's only been in 1 race, and that was Jersey. And there she is. She was first, I suppose, to hit the water, so nice, she really got it right. And
she was up first, runs went straight over, and boom, she cleared out, and that's a big gap.
And that is enough. So she will, I guess, stay out of trouble, and that is the key on this bike course. We've seen a couple of people come to grief already, and out the front you can run your own race and take out those other elements that might get in your way and ruin your day. So she wasn't in Malta, she wasn't in Mallorca, but just off the back of her efforts in Jersey, she's still hovering around the top 10. And as we keep saying, contracts are on the line, as well as prize money for the 2019-20 season, which is going to be an absolute blockbuster starting in September. Of course, we have qualifiers before that for the other spots, but if you're in the top 10 in terms of championship standings at the end of this weekend, you will take a guaranteed contract and flights. And who's at the back there? Ashley Gentle again. So
you see how comfortable Cassandra Beaugrand gets around the swim buoys and how congested it gets here, and that's where the gaps start to open up. It looked like Laura Lindemann, in about 3rd position, which looks to be a great swim for her. She stayed out of a bit of that action. I saw Taylor Spivey just before the swim buoy jump over the back of Leonie Perrier to find herself a straighter line at the buoy, and I think she's got herself through quite smoothly. But it's Ashley Gentle again, who's just off the back of this group, and it'll be a desperational ride if she doesn't get on the back of it.
So 10 women in the water, and the 4 foot or so lizard we saw yesterday in the water. We decided not to tell the athletes about that, but there was
a photo of it. They thought it was a crocodile.
Yeah, a big lizard in the water, which is making a few people a little bit nervous, but no sign of it. So it's in 11th position as it stands. Cassandra Beaugrand up the other end in 10th, and great shots from our cameraman there. That's Katie Zafiris, who, as we keep saying, finds a way forward when it matters.
And Jeffcoat on her feet, but Katie, this is the closest she's been to the front of the swim and the business end of the racing, and that says a lot about Katie Zafiris' mindset. It's the way she races. She seems to manage her effort, and she swum herself straight back up onto Cassandra Beaugrand's feet, which is this is what Katie does. She just winds herself up, gets stronger and stronger, and it's a strength that actually is a strength. And she really intimidates the rest of the field. They tend to look around and wonder where Katie is and judge their day off their position around her. And if you want to win this event, you need to move away from her. You need to be as far away from Katie as you possibly can.
Yeah, she's so consistent. She's consistently at the pointy end of all races, and because of that, it almost seems like some of these races revolve around her, if you like, in terms of mentally. She's the same in the WTS. She came into the last round last year on the Gold Coast without having won a race, but still had a lead. And that shows you how consistent she was. Beaugrand again, Jeffcoat second again. Katie Zafiris ahead of Leonie Perriot. Spivey, Clammer, Lindemann, and last out of the water and slow to get out of the water too is Ash Gentle. So she's going to have all the work in the world to do, because there is going to be no quarter asked or given in this one.
Transition's under pressure now for Ashley Gentle. She knows she needs to nail this transition to jump on the back of this group. And those are the transitions that matter.
That was a great transition from Beaugrand, who managed to hold off Takahashi, who was also very quick ahead there of Rachel Clammer. And Leonie Perriot was also with a really solid transition, so no mistakes made. 3 seconds back to Taylor Spivey from Jeffcoat, Takahashi, Clammer, Rappaport. 7 seconds off our leader, Cassandra Beaugrand, right now, who has only raced one weekend of Super League, and she won on the Saturday in the triple mix in Jersey. Can she win on the Saturday here in Singapore as well? There's Ash Gentle at the back of the pack, just behind Laura Lindemann, and still making some adjustments to her shoes.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a gap to that front four, and it's a dangerous place to be, especially if you've got Katie Zafiris in that front four. Cassandra Beaugrand, Emma Jeffcoat, Leonie Perriot, and that's Katie Zafiris in 4th position. You see that gap back to Yuko Takahashi. She's going to have to move through this chicane quickly with Taylor Spivey to make sure she closes that gap, and she's done that. It's a great racing. Rachel Clammer, Summer, and Ash Gentle on the back.
Absolutely got to keep holding your pace through that chicane as much as you can, because you've got to get on the pace quickly as they come around the back of the course and onto the tarmac. That is the key, because you can lose a lot of momentum going through that chicane if you don't manage it correctly.
Without question. And Katie Zafiris on the front, she just winds it up. Her strength, her power, she pushes a much bigger gear than the other women, and those gaps are critical. You see Rachel Clammer knows that, and Summer Rappaport is just off the back with Laura Lindemann and Ash Gentle. The one thing you know is Ashley Gentle is used to chasing down groups, so she's going to work, and you're seeing it strung out a lot more than we have in the other races. The gaps are there. There's only 10 in this final, and as we said, all bets are off. Whoever wins this race wins today's round. So just as we thought, the only time that it matters, Katie Zafiris is on the front of this in the race that matters, and is laying down the pressure.
Hanging on, Emma Jeffcoat in 4th position.
Taylor Spivey now gearing through that corner. Let's let that gap open, and these three now are in danger of missing the group. And there's your Super 3 with 2 French on the back of our series leader, Katie Zafiris.
Jeffcoat chases. She was 15th in the Eliminator, knocked out in stage 2 back when we had it in Malta, so a vastly improved performance from Emma Jeffcoat behind the 2 French women, Leonie Perriot and Cassandra Beaugrand, and Katie Zafiris leads when it matters. Yuko Takahashi behind them from Rachel Clammer as well.
And Taylor Spivey, and those two are sitting in 3rd and 4th position in the overall series, so it's Katie Zafiris putting distance between those two. They're the only two that can pass her in the championship, and just when she needs to, she does it.
That's right, there they are, and the gaps. There's too many riders between Rachel Clammer and Taylor Spivey, and up the front, Katie Zafiris. So she can't seal the championship today, but she can take great strides in wrapping it up tomorrow. She's the more riders she can put between herself and Spivey and Clammer at the bar back of your screen there, out of focus, the better. And at the moment, there's 4.
Yeah, without question. And again, all day the French have been on the front end, but Jeffcoat's been there. It's a great, strong front pack, and you can see the desperation in Rachel Clammer's face. Taylor Spivey needs to help, and they hope that woman on screen there, Ashley Gentle, moves up, because you know she'll work and try and close down those gaps. But Rachel Clammer's head's down, the gap's open. That's a specific statement. And Taylor looks tired. Taylor looks tired.
We'll just keep you updated. Check on the Super League Triathlon Instagram and Twitter accounts, and on Facebook as well, as we bring the news to you in the wrap-up of this race on how Taylor Spivey is as she pulls up. So we'll try and keep you updated across our social media, and also during the men's race, which comes up after this one. And that will be fantastic. But right now, with a couple of laps left on the bike and then the run, it's Katie Zafiris, who won in Jersey, who won in Malta, and only an accident in transition, very uncharacteristic, stopped her from taking the full 75 from 75. 50 points on offer, so 40% of our total championship points are here in Singapore, because we like to make things interesting.
Yeah, and you can see her turning the screws up, and you're seeing Yuko Takahashi yo-yoing off the back of that group, and that gap between Rachel Clammer and Taylor Spivey and that front group is opening up. It's all being done by Lisa Faris. You see,
didn't really get that corner right, turned in a little early.
But you can see the strength, and there's the gap, and that's the winning gap. These are the two she knows. She's going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. We see it. We saw it in Malta. We saw it in Mallorca. We saw it in Jersey. And it's a shutdown of the racing, but it's going to be very, very interesting. She's thinking of Taylor Spivey and Rachel Clammer, and neglecting the fact that Cassandra Beaugrand is probably the most talented runner in the field. Is she prepared to give up that position, because she's done 90% of this bike work, and both of the French have sat just on the back of her wheel, conserving energy for the run.
Well, the look of pain there on Rachel Clammer's face. She's dropped in behind Ash Gentle, and as you say, hoping that Ash can drag them forward, because that gap is getting worryingly wide for our second group of 5 athletes. But no one prepared to take the lead from Katie Zafiris and do a bit of work. It's a lovely place to be, sitting on Katie Zafiris' wheel, but we keep saying this, the race seems to revolve mentally for the other athletes about where Katie is, and another athlete at some point is going to have to get out there and attack if they want to take this one from Zafiris. Will it be Beaugrand? Will it be Jeffcoat? Leonie Perriot is finding herself in the best position she's been in across the course of Super League Triathlon. But Gentle, Clammer, Lindemann, Spivey and Rappaport, 2 of our 3 championship hopefuls, are in that second group in the green, and there in the American flag, Spivey is currently sitting 9th. So Jeffcoat suddenly feeling the elastic band beginning to lengthen a little bit off the back of Yuko Takahashi's wheel.
This is the best Ashley Gentle's looked. It's the closest to the front she's been. She's prepared to do the work. You see Rachel Clammer dive straight under her wheel, and Katie Zafiris to be aware of that. She's such a professional. She'd know where every single athlete is in this field. She wants that gap. She knows she's got the run. If she can keep Rachel and Taylor out, she'd let Ashley Gentle run through, because that's another athlete that puts them between the championship points.
Well, you don't get a lot of looks back in the field if you're leading this race. There's only really one spot where you can get a proper look at the gaps, and that is as you make the cross of the finishing line and take 2 hard left turns and come back through transition.
You'll see them glance at the screen too. You'll see them take the glance up as they come down this long straight here. There's a big television screen just past the fan zone. They tend to glance, see where they're positioned, see who's around them, count heads, and but here it's going to come down to the run. We've got 1 lap, I think, after that's 3 laps. Katie has been on the front of this bike, and look at the gap starting to open up the top 3, I think. Again, the French attack to her wheel, as Yuko Takahashi and Emma Jeffcoat that are struggling now with the power that Katie Zafiris is putting out.
2.7 kilometres left in this race, 900 on the bike and 1,800 in the run, and we will crown our women's Eliminator champion. And at the moment, it looks like Katie Zafiris is in control of this one. She leads Leonie Perriot and Cassandra Beaugrand, the 2 French women, from Yuko Takahashi of Japan and Emma Jeffcoat of Australia. There are your top 5. 6 seconds now back to Ashley Gentle, Rachel Clammer of the Netherlands, Laura Lindemann from Germany, Taylor Spivey and Summer Rappaport of the USA.
Summer's a magnificent runner as well. It's going to be very, very interesting. The quality in this front group of 10 is remarkable. 6 seconds is nothing for Ashley Gentle. We saw her win the grand final of the WTS series last year, ousting the world champion, Vicky Holland, and she's been running through this field. I'm very, very interested to see this showdown, this shootout between the French and Katie Zafaris, because I think the quality of athletes are in the front. They've been able to cruise through this, but the gaps are starting to close. That's interesting.
They seem to constantly prove us wrong, just as we say one thing.
They're sitting up front, which I think's crazy. Katie seems to have sat up. Maybe she's saying, look, I'm sick of doing all the work. Look at Cassandra Beaugrand, third wheel. Has just protected herself this entire bike ride. If you're sitting in there, you're resting the legs, it's all about the run. I think with the Eliminator, it's coming down to a 1.8 kilometre shootout between the best women in the sport.
Yeah, when you think about it, and not to discount the other athletes in the top 5 or indeed in the top 10, but we've seen Katie Zafiris run away to victory plenty of times. We've seen Cassandra Beaugrand run away to victory. And if you've done all the work on the front and your competitor in Cassandra Beaugrand has not, then it's very tough to compete against someone with the running pedigree that the French woman has. And we could see her after sitting in on the bike.
And Ashley Gentle has closed that gap to less than 3 seconds. This transition is critical. If Yuko Takahashi's ever going to have a transition that counts, this is the one.
See, Rachel Klammer has really pushed up there as well, and there she is in slot position number 2. But Taylor Spivey hasn't been able to do the same thing, and they will both know exactly where each other are. A good transition from Zafiris. Out she goes, behind her, Beaugrand, but someone in between them as well. And there is Summer Rappaport, who...
9th out. Summer Rappaport has been very tardy in transition.
Doesn't have the best transitions.
She's got a big run, but leaves herself a lot of work to do.
That's right. Yuko Takahashi has slotted herself in between Zafiris and Klammer, who came in 6th and has left transition in 3rd.
Now this is a running race. This is going to be very, very interesting. A 4:11 1500 metre runner for that girl on screen, Cassandra Beaugrand, an amazing talent, only 21 years of age. She was 2nd in the Junior Worlds in the Gold Coast, and she won our opening round in Jersey. She sat out the rest of the series. She's come back. She's made a statement that she'd like to win here. And the only time I have ever seen Katie Zafaris under pressure is when these two went head-to-head in Jersey.
And she ran away in the triple mix, which is very similar to this in terms of 3 stages with breaks in between. Of course, we mix up the traditional swim bike run in that one, and she ran her way to 3 stage wins in a row on debut in Super League in September. Of course, the next day in the Enduro, Zafiris came back and won 8 of the 9 legs on her way to a win and a round win overall as well. Beaugrand finished 3rd.
Leonie's raced well, and Rachel Klammer's moved up into 4th. She's looking across at Taylor Spivey, thinking this is my chance. Ashley Gentle's just behind her. If she can keep Ashley behind her, Ashley had a glance back. They're critical points for the overall podium finish for Rachel Klammer in green.
She'll be looking to track down at the very least Leonie Perriot, but also our 2 leaders, and the gap is not huge, but right here is the present and the future of Super League Triathlon. There's no doubt about that. Number 16, Zafiris, and number 55, Beaugrand.
Yeah, it's like Jersey all over again. These Emma Jeffcoat at the back with Laura Lindemann. Really struggling in the heat, Laura.
She's done so well, Laura Lindemann, in the first 2 stages, but it is starting to tell, there's no doubt about that. Jeffcoat, very similar, has done incredibly well. Probably her best outing in any day of any race we've had in Super League Triathlon. But those 2 faces look serene, do they not? I know there's plenty of hearts racing underneath there, but I tell you what, they look like they're not hurting, and that's part of a champion, no doubt.
These points are critical. I'm always glancing back behind these 2 leaders. I'm very eager to see where Rachel Klammer sits with Ashley Gentle just behind her, because those points count. There's Taylor Spivey, who's looking for a podium finish with Kirsten Casper out, but is drifting backwards. We saw Summer Rappaport come out of transition last, but has moved away past, what, 4 or 5 of the women.
Spivey and Klammer will be hoping very much that Cassandra Beaugrand can do the job over Katie Zafiris in this one as well. And at the back, you can see the pain on the face of Laura Lindemann, who has really given everything. We haven't seen her since Jersey 2017, where I said she had 2 accidents in the same spot, really big ones, probably the biggest bike accidents we've seen.
They went viral on social.
They did, because you kept retweeting them every 10 seconds. You were that excited by it.
Look at Katie Zafaris starting to put down the hammer now. We still have a lap to go, but she squeezes, and Cassandra Beaugrand now has to tack and stay very, very close. She knows she has a bigger kick finish than Katie Zafaris. She cannot let this elastic band break.
So it's Zafaris, Beaugrand, Perriot on her own. What a great bike and run from Ash Gentle ahead of Rachel Clammer in 5th. So at the moment, there's plenty of distance and enough athletes between Zafiris and Clammer that'll be a big blow for Zafiris if she can win this one and relegate Clammer to 5th or even 6th and 7th, and also Spivey, who is back in 8th or 9th position at this point. But at the moment, it's the best runner you'd think in triathlon, currently in 2nd position behind Katie Zafiris, who continually proves that she is a force to be reckoned with in this format and really any other.
She's come out of the snow in the US to come here. The conditions that the change in temperature for her has been remarkable. I know the French have been training in heat. They came in earlier than any other athlete, so this is a huge run for the title for Katie Zafiris.
Zafiris was telling me yesterday that to help acclimatise to the heat, she'd do 20 minutes in a hot tub up to her neck and then immediately jump in the water and do 25 metres and then get back in the hot tub and do another 20 minutes. And she said she felt like a slug in the water after that much heat. But it certainly doesn't seem that way. She's had very solid swims, if not brilliant, but she's been there or thereabouts. And across the course of the stages, she has just gotten better and better.
Ash Gentle's got her eyes on the podium finish here in the Eliminator. She's just moving up on Leone now. Rachel Clammer's counting backwards, but I'm eager to see if... No, she's back on for the chicane. It's not broken. That elastic band's not broken. Do not ride off Cassandra Beaugrand.
No, she's got a superb last couple of 100 metres, but we know that Zafiris has as well. And Rachel Clammer is really putting everything she possibly can into this race to stay in touch and take it to a Sunday showdown.
That's opened up a little on that back straight. She seems so much stronger. I think as we go through the turns, Katie's a little bit slower through the turns, and she seemed to move up Cassandra Beaugrand, but on that back straight, just the pure strength of Katie as an athlete is really apparent.
She holds her form in the run just so well. Looks exactly the same as if she's going for a jog, than if she's putting it down in front of Cassandra Beaugrand. She never really loses form, always stands very upright and looks very solid in terms of her running style. She'll finish this one and say, I was shattered during the run, and you'll go, whereabouts? Really? At what point?
She's going to make a left-hand turn. I think Cassandra is going to, as a middle distance runner, she's used to a kick finish. Here's the left-hand turn, and she's exactly 210 metres from the finish line.
Are you telling me that you ran this?
No, I heard Vincent Louis. I saw him looking at the course the other day, prepping for his sprint finish.
All right, it looks like Ash Gentle has moved into 3rd position with Leonie Perriot just behind, and then Rachel Clammer, but it's all down now to Katie Zafiris, who looks like she is going to take the win as she did last time in the Eliminator. She's done it in a different way. Last time we had the Eliminator, she won every stage. This time she's measured her efforts, waited to see, probe for weaknesses, and then when the time came, she has done the job, and Katie Zafiris continues on her winning ways and wins the Women's Eliminator, and that is a huge moment in terms of the championship. Cassandra Beaugrand finishes 2nd. Congratulations to her. And what a finish from Ashley Gentle to finish ahead of Leonie Perriot, who's been so consistent. But Ashley Gentle has had some tough swims and fought her way back again and again.
And that epitomises what Rachel Clammer epitomises Eliminator racing. The 3rd race matters. Ashley Gentle, who struggled, almost eliminated in stage 1, just scraped through in stage 2, has finished 3rd overall on the day.
Well, you've got to time your runs, and she's done that. Summer Rappaport comes over the line as well. A very solid performance from her. And the eliminated athletes, there's Erin Story looking on, and Megan Foley, the Americans, and an embrace between our 1st and 3rd, 2 steps on the podium there. And Taylor Spivey has really gutsed her way to a top 10 finish, and you can see already she's been working on that shoulder. Yuko Takahashi comes home as well. She had a very consistent race as well, but in the end, the pace just a little bit too hot. We'll go down right now to Annie Emerson, who has your Women's Eliminator champion, Katie Zafiris.
Well, Katie, this is what it's all about in the Eliminator, saving the best until last, and you did just that.
Yeah, as per usual, I built throughout the rounds. It was a little intentional and a little just it got me a bit to get going, but it was nice knowing all I had to do was count down, make the top 15, make the top 10, and then go for it in the end.
Just tell me, you know how well Cassandra runs, so how did you feel coming off the bike so close with her, and she stuck with you?
Yeah, so when she came up around me, I was like, okay, try and run on her shoulder. There started to be a gap form. I was like, just get there, get on her back. And then I kind of noticed a difference in her composure and her breathing, and I thought, okay, this is good for me. So I just made sure I stayed there, played it smart, but still, you never know how much of a kick someone's going to have in the end. So once I passed her, I don't know if it was smart or silly, but I just tried to stay ahead of her.
You talk a lot about working on mental strength, and I think that paid off today, because when it comes down to the final like that with hundreds of meters to go and you've got Cassandra on your shoulder, you've got to stay so strong.
Yeah, it's a balance though, because we do have to race tomorrow and there's no breaks tomorrow, so we'll see what happens.
I think surely tomorrow is really the race that you favour most in the Super League Series.
I do like it.
Great to see you winning here today, Katie, and good luck for tomorrow.
All right, thank you so much.
When you like it, but in a very masochistic way, the enduro, we cannot wait for that. But coming across the line, we've seen it so many times. Katie Zafiris has just been so strong across the course of this series, and she has one hand now on the championship and $100,000 US, and she knows exactly how much that one means. There's been some chat about, well, it's very hard at this point, I guess, when everyone's in a different, you don't know exactly what shape people are in. Some people have raced, some people haven't raced. You don't know exactly how much they've got in the tank at this stage. She spent more time at home, Katie Zafiris, than usual and came straight here. But she manages to do the job from Beau Grant and Ashley Gentle, who just had such a gutsy race, as did Leonie Perriot. Rachel Klammer put everything in for 5th. Taylor Spivey was 7th behind Summer Rappaport. Yuko Takahashi, Emma Jeffcoat, our stage 1 winner, and Laura Lindemann round out our top 10. And congratulations to all of the athletes for even making it to stage 3, let alone taking the podium. Katie, Cassandra and Ashley, what an effort from them. And we'll head back down now to Annie, who is around the finish line.
Well, not quite in the finish line. We're in the paddling pool at the moment with Cassandra. Cassandra, a near perfect day's racing, but you just got pipped at the last post.
Yeah, it was very hard for the first time of the season. So I tried to do a good race.
Katie was so strong on the final run, wasn't she?
Yes, she was very strong, and I tried to stay near her.
I think something we noticed today was your bike was strong, so your skills in the technical part of the courts was really good today.
Yeah, the technical is my weakness, so on this winter I tried to work very hard.
Okay. We're going to let you cool off, and we'll look forward to seeing you racing tomorrow, Cassandra.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Cassandra Beau Grant. Sorry, I thought you were at the finishing line. Of course, you're going to go down next to the ice bath, because that's where every single one of them are. We saw mountains of ice in the background too, just as the athletes are trying to keep cool. And let's have a look back now on the top 10 shootout, stage 3 of the Eliminator. And it was at the beginning, as it was in stage 1 and stage 2, a bit of a swimming lesson for Beau Grant, who had a little slip on the way out of the water. She's so strong in the run, so strong in the swim, and so improved in the bike, and that's why she led out and was part of a group of 5 who really gapped the back group and forced Ashley Gentle to work very hard along with Rachel Klammer to bridge that gap. And on the way out, she led early, and then as Katie Zafiris said, she just got the sense that perhaps Cassandra was starting to blow a little bit hard, and when she saw that little chink in the armour, she went for it. Katie Zafiris, such an experienced racer, and she takes 25 round points for her troubles and extends her lead somewhat in the race for the championship. She only needs to finish, let's remind you, 7th or better overall. So barring a huge mishap tomorrow in the Enduro, which she won with absolute dominance the last time we ran this format, she will be your Super League Triathlon champion. But it is far from assured. Anything can happen in this type of racing.
We have the live eliminations tomorrow in the Enduro format, with the last 2 athletes across the line. Each one of the disciplines is eliminated. So if anything goes wrong and she found herself eliminated, all bets are off. But she's left it right where she did at the end of last season. She's come out to the grand final. She made a huge statement. There was a lot of question marks about her coming out of the colder weather in the US against the athletes that had opted to train in hotter weather. But she shut those concerns down today, without question.
In our scoring system, our top three, I suppose, in order, Cassandra Beaugrand is an 8.1 in the swim, a 6.9 in the bike, and a 9.3 in the run. So certainly her weakness is the bike. But when you look at Katie Zafiris, 8.1, 8.6, 8.6, so consistent. There is no gaps whatsoever. Ashley Gentle, 7.7 in the bike, 9.4 in the run, 5.7 in the swim. So something to work on for both Beaugrand and Gentle, but consistency is key, and Katie Zafiris showed us there.
That's the whole purpose behind Super League racing. It's about highlighting those athletes that do all three disciplines near closest to perfection as possible, and whether we mix those disciplines up, whether you put them first, runs last, it doesn't matter. And you're seeing Katie Zafiris, who is dominant across all three disciplines, shutting down this field time and time again, and she's the gold standard.
Won't be long now until the men's race kicks off. It all begins here at 5 p.m. local time, so make sure you check your guides. It's only about 20-odd minutes away, not too far at all. We're going to see the podium for the women as well coming up very, very soon. But a quick look ahead to the men's race as we see some of the youngsters enjoying the family fun zone. Vincent Lewis is our championship leader. He's on 75 of 75 points. There's 50 points on offer now, and he's 12 points, though, ahead of Henry Schumann. So despite taking first, he has much less of a gap than Katie Zafiris does over the field in the women's, because Henry Schumann, the Commonwealth Games gold medalist and Rio bronze medalist, took second. Yeah. So he's 12 points behind, and he is well within striking distance when you consider the 50 points on offer.
And those two have been really the two form athletes. If you throw Richard Murray into the mix, and but it's really been Henry Schumann and Vincent Lewis that have been the two athletes that have gone head-to-head time and time again, whether that when Henry escaped in the swim and got a gap on the bike and being able to hold him off. It's been the only time we've seen Vincent under pressure. But I still go back to the last time we saw them in these type of conditions. Vincent Louis wasn't there, Henry Schumann was in Hamilton Island, and it was Richard Murray, who has yet to lose an eliminator format, I may add, that was the most dominant.
He absolutely was. He ran at home. He's got the fastest transition out of everyone, a 9.2 for that. He ran at home, he's got an 8.2, but he's got an 8.9 on the bike as well. His 6.1 on the swim, that's what lets him down overall. But if he can swim his way out of trouble, Ashley Gentle showed us that she can do exactly that. But we look forward to that right now, though. We have an Australian, a French woman, and an American on our podium for the women's eliminator. And there they are, your top three, who've managed to recover in time to take the one step onto the podium, spray the champagne, and enjoy what has been a very, very tough race here in Sentosa Cove. Smiles between Ashley Gentle and Katie Zafiris. And Cassandra Beaugrand,
ladies and gentlemen,
I will throw down now, I think, to our podium.
For the Super League Super Saturday, Race 3, the final, presenting Mr. Eugene Lee from the Triathlon Association of Singapore in third place, and bronze medalist today from Australia, Ashley Gentle. The silver medalist from France, Cassandra Beaugrand. And race winner from the United States of America, Katie Zafiris. We'd now like to call on Mrs. Zhou Zhengzi from 1 Degree 15 Marina, presenting the champagne.
A little bit of a struggle there to get the champagne open, but they do the job in the end. And, well, Cassandra, everyone but Cassandra has. She's shaking, but nothing's coming out. She's doing her absolute utmost. There we go. Congratulations to all of our podium getters. Ashley Gentle in third, Cassandra Beaugrand with champagne in her eye in second. And Katie Zafiris, your winner of the Women's Eliminator for the second time across the course of the season. And those three will no doubt be a force in years to come.
In the eye, it stings.
Yeah, it's well, I've never been on a podium, so you'll just have to. I'll take your word for that. But there you go, top three. Congratulations to all our women. Thank you very much, Chris McCormack. We'll be back very soon with the men's eliminator at 0900 GMT. It's only about 15 minutes away. We cannot wait for that. Make sure you join us here from Sentosa Cove as the Super League Triathlon Grand Final from Singapore continues.